box office, Buca Banana Bonanza. Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear just sing a song. Shadow's got a gun. Who wins, son? Mufasa. Nolan's next movie has more star power than the 8th place racer in Mario Kart. High on Tim's Depp chart. Daddy is there to take Malcolm to the fair. Max Rex. All that and more this week on News Dump.
That was the best news dump you've ever said. But before we get to those topics, Mac, let me ask you, this is the Goose Day after Thanksgiving. I don't care about your Thanksgiving. I care more about your Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday. You get anything cool?
Thank you for asking. I did enjoy some deviled eggs on Thanksgiving. I have not bought anything for myself or anyone over these past 4 or 5 days. Completely. I did gander. So work-related thing. We need to. This is how work goes, and I'm glad I'm not in an office setting and I don't get to deal with semantics and stuff. But we need to purchase a laptop, but it's got to not necessarily get approved, but it's got to be like a thumbs up from like 3 people. And so obviously we haven't purchased a laptop yet because we just can't get on the same page. I hate.
And you're in charge of this?
I'm one of the 3 or 4 people that so I'm like, hey, do you want me to just go get one? And I can't get an answer.
This is kind of like how at my work, I am for some reason the fleet manager.
Yeah, right. I don't mind making the decision, but you have to empower me. You know what I mean? Like, just let me do it. Goo. Did you buy anything? I don't care about your Thanksgiving. Did you buy anything?
You shouldn't care about it.
On Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, or Cyber Monday?
On Black Friday, I bought myself a new pair of AirPods, the AirPod 2s. They're a little tricky because they're the noise cancellation ones, and I can't figure out the settings to either have it not be noise cancellation, having the sound be too big. You need to have the case with you when you're changing the settings, and I usually only just have one pod in my ear, and out of nowhere, it's just a...
So let me ask you this. This has got to be more for gym stuff, right?
Yes, gym stuff.
Okay, I was going to say, because you are anti-earbuds for the most part, no?
No, I like earbuds. I don't mind them. And I love the fit of these sumbitches. They fit amazing, and they feel great. I can move my head around, and they don't pop out of my ear now.
I think I have a narrow ear canal, and I know you get different sizes when you get earbuds, but they usually
Mine's gaping. Mine's giant.
Earbuds usually hurt my ears after like 40 minutes.
Oh, mine's been great. The comfort level on these, I've absolutely loved. It's just the weird noise cancellation settings that I'm not a huge fan of. Because if I only have one earbud in, I'm not looking to cancel noise. I'm just looking to have someone speak in my ear. I'm looking to listen to some podcasts.
And not for nothing, that should be like it shouldn't kick in, or it shouldn't even be an option if you only get one earbud in, But
it immediately turns on like that. The toy sales on Black Friday sucked, so my son really hasn't gotten much yet. Although I did order him his basketball hoop. I got him a bunch of... So right now, budget-wise, we're about to blow way past that. I'm a real bad GM because I keep seeing something like, that's not a bad deal. I'm going to get him this too.
Yeah, I hear that. You also were waiting in line Friday morning during Black Friday.
Right, because Target was selling a Taylor Swift book.
Oh, that's what all those folks were there for?
And I says to myself, what if I buy a couple of these and then these pay for Christmas? Luckily, I didn't do that because they are still at Target right now. So everyone waiting in line, you stupid.
Big dummies. Real big dummies.
Big dummies. That's all I got so far.
Okay. All right. Well,
tell us what you bought. Tell us any good deals coming up, because Goo only buys stuff when it's on sale. That's the fun of Christmas.
Well, yeah, but I also feel like, and I saw a TikTok about this too, so it could be fake news. Who knows?
Yeah.
That some of the deals on Black Friday were like markups then marked down. Like,
they were.
2 weeks ago, you could have got it for less a price or the same price, but they make you feel like you're getting a deal on Black Friday.
It's like going to FYE and you go in there and it says that this DVD box set costs $45, but we'll give it to you for $32 when the actual price is just $32.
Yeah, right.
That's when the Better Business Bureau needs to step in and say, hey, my pillow guy, you can't sell one pillow and give this person 4 pillows. That's what the deal always is.
I know. Right. Right. Take their goddamn BBB sticker away.
News dump. Mac, did you see this? Did you hear about this? We have a new word of the year from Oxford, and that is 2 words. Brain rot.
Yeah. I don't like this. I don't
I didn't
like
like it one bit. I says to myself, what are the rules?
we can't be putting terms into the dictionary, right? 2-word terms? What are we doing here?
It
What are we
feels
doing?
like Oxford itself, a little bit of brain rot.
Yo,
Oh!
anyone that's listened to us for an extended period of time, a little bit of brain rot.
I was
Uh,
curious if we are brain rot because it's usually social media, quick hitter, less than a minute, bunch of bazingas going off at once, and you need that quick adrenaline rush. Your endorphins go cuckoo bananas.
I think you made a bunch of buku banana bonanza.
By the way, I'm having a real tough time this morning thinking of words.
That's me always. I don't care for this. I understand they're trying to adopt more colloquial diction and, these new like hyphen words that come up as, our society progresses or regresses, whatever way you want to look
Thanks
at
for
it.
the brain rot.
And I just don't care for this. The 2-word thing, really. At least hyphenate it, right? At
I
least
also don't like that it's voted on by 37,000 people. I thought it was like the NFL Hall of Fame where you have a room of 9 people. You have 9 people presenting a word, and then you talk your word up.
yeah, because you got the brain rotten people voting on the words that should go into the
Yeah,
dictionary. So it's ass backwards.
I don't care for this one bit.
We should have like a Mr. Oxford that makes the final decision.
Right. I want the one person deciding on the word of the year.
Like Bobby Oxford comes out and like, this is what we're doing.
I would like the Mac and Goobers, all 37,000 of you, to please tell us what our word of the year is.
Yeah, please do.
News Dip. The box office went kaboom over the past 5 days. Moana, a record $225 million domestic over its 5-day run for Thanksgiving, $386 worldwide. That is an animated record. Wicked in its second week, 5 days. Keep that in mind, 5 days, but almost $120 million domestic. Right now, it is at $360 over 2 weeks. The highest grossing musical adaptation of all time in the U.S. in just 8 days. Gladiator 2, $44 million over that 5 days, $320 in 2 weeks. Ridley Scott was recently asked how often he thinks of the Roman Empire. He responded, "I've never thought of it." And if you look at some of the stuff that he puts in his movies, you might not question that.
I I'd argue he's been thinking about the Roman Empire for, I don't know, 30 years. When did he start making Gladiator? Start writing Gladiator?
Really, why don't you open a book and see what actually happened back then? Fuck you, sharks. That's what happened. And
Cool.
Red One, still making money, almost 20 million over those 5 days, 150 total in 3 weeks. The only issue there, it cost 250 million to make, and I think the budget on the market is well over $3 billion.
Yeah, that's that's a movie. We can confirm that it's a movie.
I'm not even sure if it is a movie.
2 things here.
Yeah.
I guess pleasantly surprised at the second weekend for Wicked. Barely a drop off, but we talked briefly over the weekend, and I was going to go see it again with my brother who wanted to see it, and it was all sold out.
Wow.
I could. The only seats were like right front. I'm like, absolutely not. I'd rather get shot in the head than go sit there.
I love those seats.
Also, on top of all these records, this was the highest grossing Thanksgiving weekend box office ever. 422 million domestically. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Movies are back, baby.
Well, I mean, kinda. You have a sequel to a Disney movie. You have a sequel to a movie from 23 years ago. You have a
Stage play
well-known
adaptation.
property, from The Wizard of Oz.
Well, Red One. There you go.
Santa. People know Santa. People know The Rock, and people know Chris Evans.
True.
Lucy Liu. Lucy Liu turned 53 the other day. Looks great
about
for
that?
53.
She sure does.
Someone also posted her from like 1999 or 2000. Not bad at all. Remember, she was in Charlie's Angels and she dated Joey Tribbiani?
Yeah. Was she in Ally McBeal before that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where she was from.
She was, right?
I think so.
What a murderer's row of a fucking cast, because you have RDJ in there too.
Have you ever understood it with Callista Flockhart? Has she ever done it for you?
I know she had that little baby that was dancing in her head with the Ooga Chuckas.
Like Harrison Ford could have had anyone on the planet, and he was like, I'm going to have Callista Flockhart.
That's what he said before he ordered her off the dinner menu. Thank you. Coming up, actually, there's nothing these next couple weekends, but
Craven next weekend.
is it Craven next weekend?
Yeah.
Did we get a screener?
Not yet.
Uh-oh.
Not yet.
There's that, there's Sonic, there's Mufasa. Nosferatu is getting quite the write-ups right now, and I am rock hard for it.
Yep.
Spooky Christmas stuff.
Yeah,
And I have a question for you too. So, do I count the 2 Christmas movies from 2024 that I've seen recently on my letterbox list? Do they count as actual movies?
if it's so sometimes I don't know. It's up to you. I also watched a movie this weekend that technically came out in 2022. It's a Canadian movie, but it didn't get you weren't able to watch it in the US until this year.
Well,
So to me,
Canada's always 2 years behind us, so that makes sense.
to me, well, they'd be ahead in this scenario, so that doesn't make any sense.
Shut the fuck up.
So to me, that's a 2024 release. That's how
Yeah.
I'm going to operate. So it's just
When did
a
it
lot of
hit
shit like that.
the widest audience? That's what I would say.
2024. And we
Okay.
see that all the time because you get a lot of movies that get limited releases in the prior year so that they can get Oscar buzz or whatever, but they don't get like nationwide releases till the next year. And that really fucks with how we evaluate them. This is why I was able to nominate La Vita e Bella for 2 different Gooby Vaults because I think it came out in Italy in 96
7
or
and then
97.
America
And then,
98.
yeah, exactly.
I would say the Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie might be a real movie. I'm not counting the Lacey Chabert movie, Hot
come on.
Frosty, as a real movie.
That's pretty mean.
News dump. That's mean Christmas talk. We're going to take that out of the podcast. Let the people sing is what The Rock is saying when asked by BBC. I'll let you decide which BBC was asking him. About singing in the theater, he said, "You've paid your hard-earned money for a ticket, and you've gone into a musical, and you're into it. Sing."
On the other side, I have also paid my hard-earned money for
That's
a
what
ticket
I would say.
to watch the professionals sing and not some fucking loser 10 feet to my left that can't just sit through a movie in silence. They're going to come out with a singable one. Go see it next month. The end of this month.
You're gonna be popular.
I don't need people in there making Instagram posts of them singing during the movie. I don't want any of that. I want none of that.
It's the Wizard and I. The Wizard and I. I like to change the song in my head to make it my own.
Yeah, I'm just picturing you tap dancing like the WB Frog.
Like the frog, like the guy saying, "Come on to Six Flags." Also, is he saying for people to sing at Moana? Because no one knows any of those songs, if it's the second one.
Yeah, good point. Great. And why is The Rock chiming in on any of this?
That's a good question, too. Is he expecting people to do what my son does when he's learning a song where he hears this and then he repeats the lines back to the fucking screen?
Did The Rock call up BBC himself? They didn't even want to talk to him. He called BBC, and I was like, I got to get my opinion.
It was like,
there.
Look, I just saw Wicked, and I sang my ass off. And they're like, we saw you singing Moana, and we don't think you should be doing that. News up. Got another trailer for Sonic 3. This time, Shadow's got a gun.
I still don't know anything about Shadow. I don't know anything about this.
We got 2
character
Eggmen.
whatsoever.
We got Eggman Dad, Eggman Son, both played by Jim Carrey. And then Knuckles makes a Pokemon joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does Sonic say at the beginning? He says something because they're in Japan.
I don't know. The first movie, Goo, I think is overrated. Second movie might be underrated. So I'm hoping this movie is rated.
You think this one is Baby Bear's porridge? Going up against Sonic on that December 20th Eve, news dump, is Mufasa. Sonfasa, the weekend of Mufasa, the Lion King, and Sonic 3 both hitting theaters, which is kind of weird because I feel like it's a pretty similar audience. Like, I understand Barbie versus Oppenheimer. I understood Gladiator 2 versus Wicked. This one, I feel like there's almost too much of a crossover, and this kind of speaks to it. Tracking-wise, Sonic is at 55 million, Mufasa 50 million, but Disney has yet to make its big Mufasa push. I would say they are running out of time.
Yeah, it does strike me as individually one of these movies should hit 80 or 90, right? But instead, they're both gonna split that and
The
get
bathwater with the
50,
baby.
55. So that's a bummer from them, but whatever. They'll have some longevity there. And it is the holiday season. So there's a couple weeks off, a winter vacation. Kids will get to the theater. Goo, I prefer Mufonic over Sunfasa.
Fuck, I wish you wrote that. It's like Muzzy.
La Grande Mosie.
That's on me. That's Muzzy, and he's teaching the kids how to speak French.
Je suis la envie.
That and Zoo Books was the one that I saw
Zoo
the
Books,
most
yeah.
and never got. I always wanted Zoo Books. I didn't give a fuck about Muzzy, but like Zoo Books, I was into animals. It was bright. It was colorful. There was a bunch of them. Pretty popular animals. Nothing crazy. I never got Zoo Books.
Did they make a zoo book about every animal?
I wouldn't think every animal. There's a lot of animals.
A lot of animals, yeah.
Can't do every animal.
Well, I guess just animal you
Think
could
of the
find at a
bottom
zoo.
line. Think of the business angle. You can't go out there saying we're doing every animal.
Yeah, but if you do, and people collect them, they got to get every book.
Got to catch them all.
Yeah.
Zoo Books. News dump. Oh, by the way, Scar might be Taka. Might be. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
We'll figure this out. Don't
A
worry.
week ago, you told me he's definitely not Taka.
I don't know what's happening in this movie. All I know is that Mufasa is there to steal the kingdom.
Well, because he could be Taka, and then when he gets the scar, he calls himself Scar, or he gets called Scar.
But then I thought Taka was someone else.
I know. I don't get it.
It's also not just a prequel. There's a lot of it's a half and half of like modern day stuff because Donald Glover and Beyonce are both in this, and
Yeah.
there's music by Lin-Manuel Miranda. You have to assume that Beyonce is going to sing at least half those songs. You have Beyonce.
True. It's a good point.
What are we talking about?
That should mean we're getting a single from that album pretty soon, right? We're in striking range of that.
And according to The Rock, I can go in there and I can sing as loud as I want. Which, by the way, if they really want the people to sing, I feel like the first Saturday showing every week, that's a perfect sing-along time because you can have kids in there, you can have idiots that want to sing.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because I guess it'd be more adults going at night. So do it while the kids are in there. Yeah, all right. Kids are already annoying in the theater anyways. It makes sense.
All right, we now know the Disney Deadpool deleted joke. The script for Deadpool and Wolverine was released online by Disney. The joke that Disney asked to be removed from the script has been revealed, and it was Deadpool complaining about Disney not affording any more X-Men, and then he asked Mickey to please take his schwanz out of his mouth.
Oh, fuck. What the fuck? This doesn't bother me. I get why
This feels like every other joke in the movie, though. I don't know why this would be
that's
the one.
true too. Yeah, I know. Well, specifically talking about Mickey Mouse's dick down his throat. So
Okay, I guess. What if he said schwanz like he was Ryan Gosling in that dumb
Would've been
movie you
better.
like?
Oh, fuck you. Crazy Stupid Love? Come on.
Someone did, because you know how always on X, people are like, oh, what's the craziest movie scene you've ever seen? And someone posted that scene from that movie.
The
They're like,
backyard fight scene.
they're like, it's the Hannah reveal from Crazy Stupid Love. That is the worst scene of all time.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh, we call her Banana. We call her
And you
Nana
got-
because Hannah Banana.
You get Drew Carey's brother in there.
Isn't it crazy how he's always going to be known as Drew Carey's brother?
Yeah.
He's in The
Like,
Founder. He's great in The Founder. The Founder is a great movie, and all I know is that it's Nick Offerman, Michael Keaton, and Drew Carey's brother.
Yeah.
And
He's
Linda
also-
Cardellini.
He's also incredible in Zodiac. But nope, he's Drew
He's really
Carey's
good
brother.
at the Drew Carey show as well. The
Yeah.
Drew Carey show, I only see now, it's on the Cozy Network, and that's it.
It's like it never existed. It doesn't get talked about the way like Everybody Loves Raymond does.
You know what I have now on my Samsung TV whenever I turn it on? Brag. I have a Samsung TV.
Yeah, the Pluto
You have
TV.
all those channels that always pop up. I
Mhm.
have the National Lampoon's channel that always has a comedy on, either a comedy movie or a comedy television show, and they love playing Workaholics. Very funny show.
Yeah.
But whenever I turn it on, I'm usually with my son about to turn on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And the other day, it was the episode where Adam walked in on the two giant bodybuilders in the shower together. And he goes, well, you guys have great hogs. I bet chicks love to suck them. The exact moment.
Yeah,
as I
and,
turned
like,
on my TV.
in, like, 2 more years, you would have had to explain that to Raffi.
Yeah.
You're teetering on the edge there.
Which first off was a hilarious joke for Adam to say, but just the perfect timing. It's like when you were a kid and whenever you would watch any PG-13 or R-rated comedy, your parents would always walk in on anything nudity.
The worst thing, yeah, every time you'd have to explain that you're not
Every
watching
single time.
a porno. This
I'm
is an
not watching
actual
porn.
movie.
It's just about porn. It's the girl next door.
It's different. It's totally different.
Why are your pants around your ankles? Well, I'm just jerking off. Don't mind me. News dope. Got a little teaser for Lilo and Stitch. Stitch is on the beach destroying sandcastles, and I am going to spend all of my auction hot dogs on this movie.
Yeah, Stitch looks awesome. Looks great. I'm intrigued as to how he'll look when it's more than just a two-color background, but it seems like they probably put all their time and effort into the Stitch CGI to make this work, so I'm looking forward to it.
News down. Nosferatu drops its dong in 3 weeks. Thank you. Or dropped its dong 3 weeks early. That's a nice little headline. I didn't see you putting that in there. It debuts at 93% on Roddy T's. I think 37 reviews on that right now. It is in theaters on
Yeah.
Christmas Day.
Yeah, a good amount of reviews, enough to believe that this is actually gonna be really good, and they're dropping the reveal early because they're trying to build the buzz, because we've been seeing some advertising here and there, but this is
Yeah.
like when you drop the Roddy T score, it's free advertising when it's this high, so they wanted to let the people know that, yeah, this is good.
I also like someone had the headline. I can't think of who it was, but they said that Nosferatu 2024, Robert Eggers' Nosferatu holds the record for the longest Nosferatu movie. So it's compared to the other two. The one that
Right.
came out in 1914 when they only had so much film.
Yeah,
And then the one from 1975 or something.
I think the first one's like 1922 or
Yeah.
something like that. I think it's in the 20s.
Should we get an extra shot? We don't have enough film to do that. We can't. Whatever we get here, we're going to use.
Yeah.
And if we can't use it, the movie's going to be 22 minutes. News dump. Creature Commandos premieres this week on Max? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, on Max. It's,
Ruddy T's 94%. Ruddy T's for television shows is kind of weird though.
yeah, I don't quite understand it, because it does feel like people will review it based on not the whole season, which really grinds my gears. But we knew this was gonna be good. James Gunn's, I think, first official entry into his DCU, right?
Yes.
So this is gonna be maybe not substantial, but it matters, and animated, so they'll have fun with it.
I know that most of the reviews that I have seen have said that this is a James Gunn calling card of a bunch of weirdos, great music, funny jokes.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
News dump. Christopher Nolan's next movie that I believe is a vampire movie, right? Is that what
I
he said?
think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're talking about that.
The cast keeps growing. We already knew about Tom Holland, Matt Damon, Zendaya, Anne Hathaway. We now know about Lupita Nyong'o, Robert Pattinson back with Nolan. Everyone has been demanding it since Tenet. And now we have Charlize Theron.
I mean, it's a Nolan movie. You could tell me it was 2 dogs and a bird, and I'd go watch it. Doesn't matter who's in it when it's a Nolan movie.
Is there anyone else in the movie, or is it just the 2 dogs and the bird?
2 dogs and a bird, and he's gonna make
Are
it
they
work.
voiced by people?
Well, that's for you to decide.
Well, how are we gonna...
He's making an adaptation of Dr. Seuss's Are You My Mother?
I don't know which one that is.
Oh, you don't know that one.
I know the Dr. Seuss nose book. That's when they try on a bunch of different noses.
I think it might be called Are You My Mom? A bird falls out of its nest and is looking for his mom the whole book. And he's asking other things. He's asking a dog, "Are you my mother?" And he's like, "No, I'm a dog."
So, Christopher, we see that you are doing another movie. What is it about? It's about stacking turtles. Are you turtles? Yes, stacking turtles. It stars Tom Holland.
All right. Greenlit.
News up. Tim Burton said that he will be doing another movie with Johnny Depp in the future. This via IndieWire.
Fine. I don't think I've seen the last 2 they've done.
Do you think Burton goes to him? He's like, "You're down and out. I'm paying you nothing."
I feel like Depp's on top of the world after
Yeah,
that
Depp's
court
fine.
case.
Yeah, Depp's fine.
Burton might be down and out after Dumbo.
No, Burton just did Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. He's back on top of the world. Top of
True.
the world. Is that the song?
I don't know where you just pulled that from.
News dump. We have to stop singing. I think people don't like it.
What are you gonna do? I would say the opposite of that. The top 2 movies at the box office are musicals.
You're right. We should do more musical stuff.
Yeah.
I did see this on X around Black Friday, Thanksgiving. This is via THR. And it was Frankie Muniz talking about how Bryan Cranston still checks in on him every few weeks.
I do love that
Yeah.
because obviously, I mean, what was Frankie Muniz? What, 11 or 12 when that show started?
12, 13, yeah. But he still looks 12 or 13, so go ahead.
Yeah, that is true. I think I would have lost a lot of money if I was allowed to bet in 2002 on who would be more famous a decade later, and I would have bet Frankie Muniz over Bryan Cranston and would have been very wrong.
I would have bet the kid that plays Dewey.
That big-eared fuck.
Oh, come on. Come on. He said he really cares about what I'm doing. He comes to my races. If my band was playing, he comes to the shows. I strive to be that someone else in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was a role model for Muniz way back when. And it's funny to think that, like, that was Bryan Cranston's biggest role ever, too. But he was like
At the time, yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously Breaking Bad came later, but
Yeah.
Frankie Muniz was supposed to be the one to shoot to stardom from that. And he did do what was it? Big Fat Liar. And he
Big
did
Fat
the
Liar,
other one.
Agent Cody Banks.
There you go. That's the one with Hilary Duff.
He's also in a horror movie that's not very good.
Big Fat Liar is the one with Amanda Bynes. Agent Cody Banks.
You could tell me either one is
McGuire.
which, and I would believe you.
Yeah. Pretty much the same.
Paul
I think
Giamatti is
Agent
blue.
Cody Banks
He's
too.
blue.
Yeah. In Big Fat Liar.
It could be the other one. I also, Frankie Muniz sells olive oil now.
Does he really?
Yeah. I think
Why?
everyone's selling olive oil for some reason.
A lot of olive oil peddlers out there.
Yeah. Is there a surplus on olives that you can squeeze into oil? Is that how you make olive oil? I'm Italian. Should I know this?
I guess that's how you would make olive oil, right?
I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before. The maddest I have ever been at my wife is I needed her to pick up some groceries for me.
I am so mad at you.
No, and I said, pick up some olive oil. And she brought home extra virgin olive oil, and I was furious.
To be honest with you, if someone told me to grab olive oil, that would be my default too.
To get
extra virgin.
To get the extra fucking terrible olive oil,
I would get the extra virgin, yeah.
I'd throw it out the window.
What does extra virgin mean?
I don't know what it means. It's fucking thinner and it's garbage.
Can one of these olive oil peddlers, can you explain to us
Frankie
why?
Muniz, please let us know what is the difference in our olive oils?
What makes it extra virgin?
That's like the only time I've ever seen my father mad at my mother is when she bought thin Oreos as opposed to the regular normal sized Oreo.
Like Oreo crisps.
Oreo thins, whatever they're called. He was pissed. Oh my Lord.
I get that. Totally.
Yeah, I get it too. But
yeah.
News dump.
Bullshit.
Ben Stiller told Collider that there's no shot that Tropic Thunder would be made today in this environment. Edgier comedy is just harder to do. Definitely not at the scale we made it. The idea of Robert playing that character who's playing an African-American character, incredibly dicey. Even at the time, it was dicey too. Mac, may I say this? Is that a movie like this that is lampooning Hollywood, I think has a better chance of being made than some other comedies.
Yeah, and I also feel like this has been going on for 3 or 4 years now of all these Tropic Thunder actors talking about how you could never make that movie today. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. But why do we keep talking about that? Like, part of the reason why that movie is so great, because it's like a perfect storm of everything coming together.
Yeah.
And being able to make it then. So maybe they're right. Maybe you couldn't make it now, but it doesn't matter. They already made it.
I also think that Hollywood, when looking at like a comedy to greenlight, loves the ones that are so far up Hollywood's ass anyways. And that's what this movie is.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Like maybe you might take one or two things out, but I think a lot of this stuff would actually play and get greenlit still.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know if it would do as well, but you could probably make it.
No, I think it would do even better because then you're telling people like, hey, we made this movie, a movie that we can't make nowadays. And then you have a whole other people being like, oh, they're making movies like I used to love in the 70s.
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
They're making my Blazing Saddles now
Yeah.
with the fart scene. Remember the bean fart scene?
Yeah, it's world famous.
What was a movie that your father showed you and he told you ahead of time, this is the funniest movie ever? And then you watched it and said, this does not translate to me.
That is a really good question. Yeah, Caddyshack's gotta be up there
Oh, I love Caddyshack.
as one that just always has never hit for me. He showed me that Slapshot early, but Slapshot I really like. Slapshot I love. I'm trying to think of like a funny movie that just didn't quite hit. Because him and I have very similar comedic tastes.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'll have to think about
Mine
that.
might be when my mother, I think, showed me Take the Money and Run. No, it's a Woody Allen movie. But like you're showing a 5 or 6-year-old a Woody Allen movie. How am I supposed to understand any of this?
And that's the exact audience that Woody Allen wants for his movies too.
Shaboom. News dump. Finally, the PlayStation is celebrating its 30th year. 30 years ago, the first PlayStation was released. Did you know that PlayStation was originally supposed to be an attachment onto the N64, but they couldn't figure out a deal, so Sony went and made their own system and took over the world.
What year did N64 come out?
It came out
It
in
came out after.
96.
Okay. So
But they
were
were
working
developing it
together?
earlier in the 90s, though.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so, through the years, we got the systems here. 94 PlayStation 1, I had that. I don't think I had it in 94, probably had it in 95 or 96. PS2 in 2000, still to me, the greatest system of all time.
Also the
Uh,
highest selling system of all time.
yeah, I had that until, like, 2008. I had that for, like, 8 years.
Mhm.
Even after PS3 and Xbox 360 came out, I still was with the PS2 for a year
Guitar
or 2.
Hero.
Yeah, great game, great game. Play it in Best Buy all the time. PSP, the
The
handheld
handmade.
one. It was handmade, I
Elves.
guess, too.
Elves took it and they chiseled it, and then they handed it to you.
I never had the PSP.
I did.
I
Stunk.
remember wasn't it stupid expensive when it came out too?
It was. I got it one year for Christmas. I got like 1 or 2 games, and I says, "No, shouldn't have
Yeah,
gotten this."
and it had like a 2-hour battery life on it as
Yeah.
well, which didn't help. PS3 '06, I never had it.
I
Never
had a
had it.
PS3.
It was competing with Xbox 360, and I'm a big PlayStation guy. I have PS5 right now.
Yeah.
Xbox 360 was way better than PS3. PS Vita came out in 2011, didn't have that, and by
Never
2011, I
had
wasn't
that.
really into handheld things. Like I'm like I'm supposed to be an adult then. I graduated college that year, so I guess I wasn't playing handheld video games. And smartphones were a thing then too,
Yeah.
so that kind of crossed over. PS4 2013, I got it like release day. Super excited
Same.
about that.
My
Uh,
mother had to go to Best Buy and write me a check because my debit card did not go up high enough. It was
and then I
midnight.
had that for 7 years until PS5 came out in 2020. And PS4 was also a great system, had a long shelf life. I think the PS5 is going to have a long shelf life as well. So really, I mean, talk about the handhelds, I guess, but really the only miss they've had in 30 years is the PS3, the one that like
PS3
definitively
was
got
good. No, the PS3 was
it
good.
definitively got dominated by
I
360 though.
wouldn't call it a no, that was not a loss. That was
That was a
pretty
loss.
good. I
That
would
was a
say like
loss.
the PS Vita would be a loss or the
Yeah,
PSP.
handhelds, but the home console systems, I would say they're 4-1 against Xbox, and
I
the
had the
lone loss being
PS1.
360.
I had the PS1 where you would then flip it open. You had like the clamshell and
The
you could play
screen on
right
the back
there.
of it. Yeah, yeah,
That
the
was
mini thing.
nice.
Yep.
And with the PS3, I was so excited. It was the release date of the Peyton Hillis Madden. And I went and I bought it. I was so excited to play it. I came home, Yellow Ring of Death.
On the PlayStation?
PlayStation 3, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. I didn't know PlayStation had issues like that. That did plague the 360, the red ring of death, and yet it still outsold the PS3.
I had to buy one of the Slims after that
How about that?
just to play my Peyton Hillis Madden. News dump. And finally, Mac, can I get some recs from you on some movies that are hitting streaming services this month?
Yeah, so before we do that, you rudely skipped over one of the topics here is that the
What did I do?
Star Wars Skeleton Crew premiered this week on
I don't
Disney
care.
Plus. First 2 episodes are out, and everyone is liking it. Surprisingly, everyone in Star Wars is liking it. 94% from the critics, 86% from the audience. So I guess I'll check it out. Apparently, it's a Goonies like feel, so that always plays well. Other
Goonies
shit
like
streaming
feel.
goo.
Yeah.
2 movies I just watched. One I really enjoyed. One was solid. My Old Ass on Prime, starring
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza and a girl no one's ever heard of, but she's very good in it. I would say one of the 10 or so best movies of the year. Really good.
Took a
Really good
nice
movie.
twist at the end that I really enjoyed, and nice little life lesson. It's a very good coming of age movie about
Mhm.
appreciating things while you're young and don't overlook the things that you enjoy because they're not always going to be there.
Yeah, and I kept it small scale.
Yeah.
The 3 or 4 actors that are in it do a great job. It's really well done. Transformers 1 is on Paramount Plus right now,
Right now?
and
Right
yeah,
now?
right now,
Who's up?
and it it's solid.
Okay.
It's got a really great conclusion. I really enjoyed the final, like, 20, 30 minutes. Up until then, I was like, "Ah, this is okay." So, that's probably in that, like,
I'll
30
show
dog
Rafi
range,
this
maybe a
weekend.
little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raffi will probably really enjoy it. Beetlejuice, it's HBO Max next week, and then there's a couple that I have yet to see, but movies that are getting a lot of buzz that I'm going to see before the end of the year. And by the way, I'm up to an even 40 movies, trying to get to 50 before the end of the year, so I should be able
I'm
to
at
get there.
35. I could be at 37 if we count those Christmas movies.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if I do though.
Good. There's a movie, and you maybe have seen this over the last few weeks. I've been aware of it because of TikTok for a couple months. A movie called Honora, starring Mikey Madison, who
No.
you would remember her. She was one of the henchmen that breaks in at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the
Oh,
dark-haired one.
okay.
She was also in Scream 5. She's one of the killers in Scream 5. Spoiler alert. And apparently, she is possibly going to win the Oscar for Best Actress for this movie this year. So check out Honora. It's not streaming yet, and when it is, it's probably going to be 15 or 20 bucks to watch, but apparently it's one of the better movies of the year. And then two more that has gotten a lot of buzz is Sing Sing. That's streaming on Apple TV right now. That's, if you have a subscription, that's free. And then a movie called Kneecap, which I believe is an Irish movie that you can watch for 3 or 4 bucks right now. That's getting really good buzz. So if you're looking for something to watch these next couple of weeks, there you go.
All right. So that'll do it for this news dump. Check us out at the end of the week for Moana 2, Scooby Doo. They should have had Scooby Doo in the movie, actually. You haven't seen it yet, but that would have been a nice little tie.
What a crossover event.
I will say this is I thought of you during the movie because they introduced Moana's little sister, and I said, did they do that in case they now lose Moana? They have a replacement.
Hmm,
Like now
probably.
that they've accepted her as a wayfinder out on the sea, there's obviously a lot that could go wrong in the sea, even
That's
when you can
true.
control the sea.
Yeah, that's true.
So now you have a replacement. You have a
Oh,
little
so here's the
Moana.
question. Are they developing like a Frozen 3? If they are, they're going to do a Moana 3.
They are doing a Frozen 3. I think because of the money here, they're definitely going to do a Moana 3.
Yeah, that's true. But I know it is making buku bucks right now.
Yeah.
Buku banana bonanza. But
Buku Banana Bonanza.
no one's loving the movie though. You know what I mean? So maybe it'll have a precipitous fall off.
My kid loved it.
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's really what you're going for.
There's
But
a
that's
lot of
why
swashbuckling adventure.
but that's why the first one's so magical, is because the adults love the first one
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm. All right, whatever. We'll talk to you at the end of the week for Moana 2. See you
Yeah.
then. News dope.